YouTube, this is John. So today I'm going to start a series of tutorials on YouTube for programming in the C programming language. Well, first we need to create our file. Code files in C are generally they generally have the extension .c, which is easy to remember. So I'm gonna go and open up Xcode here. So if you're on Windows or something, you need to. I'll pull up the page here and show you. It is Minimalist GNU for Windows. You just go here and click the downloads section. So you go and create a new file. You can just call this, or I'm going to put it on my desktop. We can call this hello world.c and click finish there. Now, what you want to note first is that everything in C is, well, you have functions, you have variables, you have things we'll talk about later like data structures and different kinds of variables, like you can have static variables, things like that. But everything that is already that you're using from a code library on the system, different system calls like one we'll use called printf to print out into the terminal. You need to include into your file something called a header, which tells the compiler that all these functions are available to you to use. So printf just happens to be in a header called stdio.h. So we're going to put a number sign here because the preprocessor for compiling files looks for lines that start with this number sign there. And then the parameter here is going to be the header file, stdio.h. You put the less than, greater than brackets around the header file when they are in the compiler's include directory. You use quotation marks when the header is in the directory that your code file is in. So then when a C program starts, it always runs this first function called main. So you have to define main and then put what you need inside of it to run in the program. Functions in C can return can return a variable. So in this case, main returns an int, which is an integer. You'll see why this will be more useful later. So main, then the parameters, the arguments for a function will be declared inside parentheses here. In this case, the parameters here are going to be the command line arguments that are put in, which we won't need to learn about till later, so you can just leave it as this. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you here a little better by, instead of just doing everything in the main function, I'm going to show you how to use multiple functions here. A void function will not return anything, it will just execute. So we can call this print hello world, not have any arguments, and then in case you haven't noticed, anything that you want done inside a function must be contained within the curly brackets. So here's where we place our statements. Like I said, we're using printf, and then inside here you place the message that you want printed. I'm going to type hello world, and then this is you're going to have to know this. When you use printf, it doesn't insert a line break after what it prints, so I'll show you what that looks like and then add in the line break so you know how to do that. So in our main function here, we want print hello world to be called, and by the way, every statement has to end with a semicolon. So say you want multiple printfs, blah blah blah, has to have a semicolon there. Say you want to create a variable that's a character, then you have to put a semicolon there. You have to put a semicolon there, and that's in fact one of the main struggles with new programmers is they forget the semicolon. So in main here, we're going to do, it's very simple to execute a function that you've created. You simply type it out just as it's declared here, short of the return type here. And then to end your main function, you return 0, which this is, like I said, some functions return a certain variable or value, and in this case, when you return 0, that tells the whatever's running the process, whatever's running this application, that the program finished successfully and there were no errors. If you were doing something later where something failed to happen, you could return a negative number, which would tell it that there was in fact an error, and you can do that sort of thing. So if we just go ahead and save this here, open up our terminal, and you see I'm already on my desktop here, but you might have to use the command cd to go to your desktop. You type cd and then you go to, you type in whatever directory you want to be in. So I'll just do this for you guys here. Say I want to change the directory to my applications directory. I can go cd and I can drag this in here and it automatically inserts the path, which is /applications. As you can see, there's all my applications there. So I'm going to cd back to my desktop, and as you can see, there's my hello world.c, which is right here. And the way that you compile things with GCC, or at least the way I do it, is you type GCC, which executes the command. You see no input files. You have to specify the files and the output file that you want to be the program. GCC, and then the file we're compiling, hello world.c, then -o. That's and now you're going to specify the output, and we'll just call this hello world. And there we go. Now here is the program that was just compiled by the compiler. Now if we want to run this, we're in the current directory, so we're going to put a / then type in hello world, and see, here's it printed hello world right here, but you see the problem was it didn't insert a line break like I said earlier. So now you're back to the terminal thing. You have to enter to get back to a single line. There are things called escape kit. I believe they're called escape sequences. That might be something else. That in printf they mean different things. When you type a / and then an N, that tells printf to insert a new line. So if we were to save that, go back, compile that again, and run that again, you see that it inserted a line break, and we're now back to our to our prompt here on a new line. Let me think here. I'll show you what it does if you forget your semicolons. It's going to give you many errors. As you can see, there's a bunch of errors here, and it's a pain to read those when they're silly errors and you don't know what you did wrong, and really all you did wrong was leave out your semicolons, and you wind up driving yourself crazy trying to fix it, especially with such a simple program. And that was basically tutorial 1. Next tutorial will probably be checking the status of functions. Like I said, they can return a negative number or a different number to tell it that there was an error. And I think the next program is going to check and see if a file exists, which is not very hard to do. And then it will print out does exist or doesn't exist depending on the status of that check. Alright, this has been John. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned a little bit about C. The next tutorial will probably be up in a day or two.